after they got the vaccine. It's just chance.
They say it's chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They don't understand correlations or statistical significance. Yeah. All right. Well, it's been good having you on the show here, Dr. DeWet. We're going to break now, and we'll be coming back with more news here on the Alex Jones Show. But I want to thank you and check out his website, QHIWellness.com, correct?
That's correct.
And the book, Heal Thyself, from Dr. Pieter DeWet. Thank you for joining us in the studio today. It's been a pleasure having you on. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back after this break with more on the Alex Jones Show. Yeah, and we're back already into the second hour here on the Alex Jones Show. Thank you for joining us today. It's always an honor to be able to reach you with this kind of groundbreaking, revolutionary information. We just heard from a revolutionary health practitioner, Dr. Pieter DeWet. Hope you enjoyed that interview. We got into energy medicine, you know, the mental part, the mental aspects and spiritual aspects of healing. It was very powerful, and if you missed that, check it out. Check out the archives on Prisonplanet.com. We got a ton of news to go through here, but first I want to show you something really kind of sickening. Can you get an overhead shot on this again, too? I have an ad here from the 1950s, and it's an ad of 7-Up for infants. Now, if you're just listening on the radio, obviously you can't see it, but the ad shows an infant drinking a bottle of 7-Up right here. And it's a baby in a baby crib, actually. There's the baby crib behind it with a little teddy bear. And it says, "You like it, it likes you. The all-family drink." And the text goes like this. "Really got a grip on that 7-Up, haven't you, big boy? Go right ahead. Fresh up to your heart's content. Mom knows sparkling, crystal clear 7-Up is so pure, so good, so wholesome that folks of all ages, even little guys like you, can enjoy it often." And then it has a case of 7-Up called a family pack right here on the ad. And if you think I'm making this up, check it out on prisonplanet.tv. Yeah, this is what they used to do, folks. They used to actually market sodas to babies and get them hooked on it. I remember seeing actually baby bottle, the infant formula feeding bottles labeled with things like 7-Up and Mountain Dew and other things like that. And remember, this is great. Remember that segment from, what was it, last week? The Mountain Dew mouse, where Mountain Dew, PepsiCo was being sued. A guy said he found a mouse in a can of Mountain Dew, and Pepsi's lawyers argued that no, that would be impossible, because Mountain Dew would have dissolved the mouse into a jelly-like substance. Yeah, what a great defense. Yeah. And that's the stuff they were promoting, pushing on to children. Pretty sick, actually. But, you know, it's interesting that back then the sodas actually were made with cane sugar and not the high fructose corn syrup, which is much worse. So they actually were a little better back then. I should say a little less bad for you, but they've always had phosphoric acid in them. Let's get on to some news here. We just mentioned this in the last segment. An art contest for school children sponsored by Health Canada. Who can draw the best picture of vaccines keeping away all the evil little germs and bugs and viruses? And so they're pushing Gardasil onto 6th graders and giving them little rewards for drawing these pictures. Ha! Keep diseases away. Get immunized. All right. Here's an article from Anthony Gucciardi from naturalsociety.com. He's also a contributing writer to InfoWars as well as Natural News. Busted Monsanto abusing illegal workers in slave-like conditions. This happened in Argentina, and this whole farm got busted where Monsanto, according to Natural Society, was, quote, forcing slave workers to work the cornfields for 14 hours a day and buy their food at highly inflated prices from the company's store. Yeah, what goes hand in hand with GMOs? A little slave labor. Why not? It's all different forms of enslavement, right? Nutritional enslavement. It was even reported by Natural Society that the workers were prevented from leaving the farm premises, and if they did, their salaries would be withheld. Oh, yeah, I got to keep cranking out all that factory agriculture, factory textiles, and GMOs. Got to poison the world. That's what they think. And anyone who isn't on board gets punished for it, and they have their wages docked. That's how evil that whole system is. Anyway, we got a lot more ahead for you here, including mandatory vaccine trials being pushed by the AMA, more on SOPA, more on Ron Paul. All of that coming up right here on the Alex Jones Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. Yeah, welcome back, folks. This is Mike Adams filling in today for Alex Jones. You are listening to the Alex Jones InfoWars worldwide broadcast. That's bringing you all the information you won't get anywhere else. Yeah, especially not in the mainstream media. Today we're going to be interviewing, coming up, Tisha Casida. She's running for Congress in Colorado, and she's a big advocate of food freedom, food rights. And in fact, she has spoken out against the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, of course, which strips away our Bill of Rights and due process. And so she'll be joining us in a few minutes. In the meantime, I want to cover some of these other important stories. Vaccine trials now being made mandatory, or I should say the AMA Journal wants them to be made mandatory. There was a piece published in the American Medical Association's journal, and it said we should have compulsory involvement in vaccine studies. In fact, Paul Joseph Watson covered this issue in a story on Infowars.com. Compulsory involvement for the, quote, greater good of society. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. So you want to inject me and my children and my neighbors with experimental vaccines laced with chemical adjuvants and mercury in some cases to see if they'll work? And this is my volunteer for society? Really? These people are pretty insane. Need I remind you of the history of government-sponsored big pharma medical experiments on Americans? Tuskegee. Need I remind you of the Guatemalan prisoner experiments that were funded by the U.S. government and conducted by scientists at the NIH? Need I remind you of Big Pharma's medical experimentation on other continents all around the world, and how even the U.S. government has sprayed some cities in the United States with biowarfare agents just to see what would happen? Now they want to turn us all into guinea pigs so that they can approve more vaccines as being safe. And you know, the funny part about this story is that they say they need to do this because fewer and fewer people are agreeing to be used as guinea pigs. Well, gee, I wonder why. Maybe because they're dying. Maybe because they don't want to be a victim of a big pharma vaccine trial, and they're saying no. So the government wants to come along and draft you like you're a soldier going off to war. You're supposed to just roll up your sleeve and take a shot for the good of society. Be patriotic. Get yourself a vaccine shot, even a vaccine that's not approved yet. Be a human guinea pig for big pharma and the depopulation agenda and the infertility agenda that they pursue. Yeah, I could get more into that, but we do have Tisha Casida on the line with us now. And in introducing her, I just want you to know, well, I'll ask her for a website when she's on here. Here it is, Casida2012.com. And Casida is spelled C-A-S-I-D-A, just like it sounds, Casida2012.com. And I do not even know if she's running as a Republican or a Democrat or a Libertarian. I don't even know. I don't want to know. I don't care. What I care about is her position. And on her positions, she seems rock solid in the camp of liberty. So forget about the labels, folks, and welcome Tisha Casida to the Alex Jones Show. Tisha, can you hear me? Are you on the line?
I can, Mike. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for joining us. It's great to have you on. So what's on your mind these days?
Well, I'm very concerned about the intrusion of the federal government on the American people's liberties. And I first got interested in this subject partially because of the health factor. I'm a health nut. I do the organic thing. Very, very worried about these vaccinations that you're talking about and other insane things that they're putting into our food supply. And I'm worried, I'm concerned, and I want to stand up and do something great for my country.
So you're running for Congress. Good for you. What district are you in there in Colorado?
It's District 3, which is a portion of the southern part of the state and most of the western slope.
Ah, okay. So is Durango in that area?
Yep, Durango. We go all the way south to the border with New Mexico, west to the border with Utah, and all the way up around the Steamboat Springs area, which is the northern border with Wyoming.
Oh, okay, great. So Wow, that's a big district.
It's huge. It's the size of Louisiana.
Yeah, wow. Well, there's a lot of great land out there and a lot of great folks out there. So are you up against a status quo person or an incumbent, or what's the situation?
Yeah, it's a Republican incumbent, and he was just elected in 2010. He, in the Republican primary, won against the Liberty candidate, which ran Republican, Bob McConnell. Bob McConnell is one of my friend's mentors and has endorsed our campaign because what he sees coming down the pipe. But he was a constitutionalist like myself. Unfortunately, the status quo establishment person got in there, and he's not getting back in 2012, I can guarantee it.
Wow. Colorado is a place where I hear a lot of people saying they're trying to get to in 2012 or beyond. You know, Colorado attracts a lot of people who want to be self-reliant, who want to be left alone, who want to live close to nature. There's a lot of great land out there. So you must have a lot of great supporters out there.
We do. We have a great opportunity this year, but it is kind of the mentality of people who come here, and it's transcending the left-right paradigm. It doesn't matter if people lean left and call it sustainability or people lean right and call it self-reliance. People who live in my district and generally people who live in Colorado are more apt to be engaging in these types of things that make us more resilient as Americans, and something that I've promoted and tried to speak to for a long time. And I think you do as well.
Yeah, I do, and so does Alex here every single day, almost every day except Saturdays. But what really attracted me to your position and is what motivated me to ask you on the show today is you were speaking out against NDAA. And, you know, a lot of people are afraid to speak out against it. You're not. You have the courage to do that. Can you tell us your position on the National Defense Authorization Act?
Well, it's a complete atrocity to the American people that we have representatives that could even be discussing what they have discussed on the floor of our Congress. I'm appalled at most of our representatives in both chambers. I think that the verbiage is very loose, and I think it allows for a lot of interpretation. If my neighbor doesn't like me and he calls the Department of Homeland Security to tell him that I'm engaging in suspicious activity, I could be taken away without any due process and indefinitely detained. I'm an American. I am not the enemy. I am standing up and speaking out against a government that's doing some very scary things to our own people as well as to people around the world. And I will not live in tyranny, as one of my friends and mentors says, and I've adopted this for my own. Michael Badnarik has said this: you can kill me, but you can't scare me. And I refuse to be scared. I refuse to have fear, because fear is something that is in the future. It's not in the present. And those fear tactics, we have to stop listening to them if we're going to live in freedom.
Well, you sound like a Ron Paul supporter. Is that confirmed?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
He's an inspiration.
Well, very good. May I ask, I literally do not know what you're running as in terms of a party label. I don't even like party labels, but is that something you want to offer on the air?
Yeah, I don't like them either, and I'm running unaffiliated or independent. I'm not running with any party.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah. I'm speaking for the people. People are so frustrated with the political parties. Our founding fathers warned against political parties. It's just another way to collude interests, and unfortunately, they've become very corrupt, and neither of them really stand for what they say they're standing for. I'm sick of it. I'm standing for the people, and I'm representing the people, and the people of our district and this country need people to stand up and speak out for them.
You know, running as an independent is very, very challenging compared to being affiliated with a party. I mean, Jesse Ventura found that out in Minnesota in his run years back for governor, which he won, but he can tell you how difficult that was because they just go after you. Both parties go after you. How are you making your campaign work, and what can listeners do to help support you?
Well, we run off of money, and the more that we can get, the better. Really, we've had great support from all around the country. I'm a Liberty candidate. When I go to Congress, I'm speaking not only for my district, but I'm speaking out for the American people with all the unconstitutional things going on in government. So the more monetary support, they can go to Casida2012.com and donate. That's really what's helping us run our campaign. Beyond that, if people are interested in joining with us, we have a growing group of supporters, again, all over the country as well as in our district, that are willing to